Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse 1 here. How's everybody doing tonight? Let me know if you can hear me okay. You guys can hear me all right? All right, cool. All right, so first of all, I have to say, very, very disappointed in the snowstorm that we got. We ended up with about 14 inches of snow, so enough to be a pain in the butt, but not any big scary storm like they were, saying. But it's definitely cold tonight. Right now, it's 0 here at the homestead, so it's definitely a chilly night. It's supposed to be sub-zero tonight, and the wind's blowing too, so that makes it a lot more fun. All right, yeah, I want to build a snowman. Yeah, right. All right, so first thing I want to talk about real quick. If you have a question, please put it all cap locks. We're just going to do a question and answer tonight. What I'm going to try to do here moving forward is have a firm topic and try and stay on point, on topic. But tonight is going to be strictly question and answer. So if you have a question, please put it in all cap locks so that way it kind of sticks out to me when I see it. Okay. The second thing I'm going to ask everybody is please be respectful to everybody. Okay. Please just treat everybody decently. All right. So first question here: Yellowstone going to blow? Okay. Eventually, at some point, absolutely it will. For some reason, some people, because of the way I worded my thing, which with a question, they were saying that I'm predicting that it's going to blow in 2 weeks, which would be a week from today because I put the video up a week ago. Not the case at all. That is not what I said. If people watch the video, they would see that, I was talking about, the scientist that's the head of the Yellowstone Observatory. He was saying that it could blow under the right circumstances in as little as 2 weeks. So that's what, I was talking about with that. Okay. So just being perfectly clear, I made no prediction. I did not say Yellowstone was going to go in 2 weeks. I said, could it go in as little as 2 weeks with a question mark? So that's up to speculation. Okay, let's see. Hey, we know you don't know. Yeah, I know you guys. A lot of you guys have been watching me for a long time, and I do appreciate that. I'm really happy to start doing these live chats because I can interact with you guys more, which I really think that that's very cool. Okay, and I know we got a lot of new people within the last 6 months to a year. That's been pretty wild. The growth of the channel has really taken off. So that's all to you guys. So thank you very much. So of course I always have. I'm going to show you. I got my tea with my. Are you ready for Shizzle Hits the Fan? Okay, so I got to talk about the story, how this came about. I always say SHTF. So somebody had said to me that, they didn't trust anybody that didn't swear. Well, then you don't really know me so well. But they said that, they wanted to hear me swear just one time. So I goofed around and I said, okay, when Shizzle hits the fan. So that was, and so Mike came up with the idea for a coffee cup, and that's where that came from. So that's where that coffee cup came from. So he sent me one of the coffee cups, and that's what I'm having my coffee in. Let's see. How do you plan on handling long-term sewage? Well, in a SHTF situation, you're basically looking at digging latrines out in certain areas, and, hopefully that doesn't go into your water table. So you really have to plan that strategically as far as that goes. So that's going to be something that you're really going to, yes, they make, I'm just not jumping off topic, but they do make masks for children. Yes, they do. There are children's size gas masks. So anyway, but as far as long-term for latrines, if in an SHTF situation, trenches are going to have to be dug, outhouses are going to have to be constructed, and that's where you're going to have to go. Sanitation is going to be a huge, huge thing, guys. Okay, so sanitation is going to be definitely huge. All right, so someone asked, on my homestead, how do I take care of my trash? Anything that can be burned, we burn. That's first of all, that's how we do it. Anything that can't be burned, we bag up and it goes into the garbage. So but anything that can be burned, that's what we do. Okay. Cajun Bayou Gaming, thank you very much. Nice to meet you. New subscriber, so welcome. And Yeah, it's been a fun ride. I mean, anybody that's watched my videos and watched some of my older stuff, it's been quite a journey for us. What's the most important thing to get for a new prepper? If you are a brand new prepper, Kim, the first thing I'm going to tell anybody is get a 2-week supply of food and water. First thing. That's the first thing you should be working on, okay? Once you get to 2 weeks, then you go from there. Let's see. How many watts of panels do you have, and how many production in summer? Okay. Right now, what I have up in my racks, my 2 different racks that I have out there, I have 3,020 watts. No, 3,120. I'm sorry. 3,120 watts right now is what we have in our solar system. I have another 900 watts to add to that. So I have 3 more 300-watt panels that are not up yet. And so production in the summer is great. Spring is great. This time of year is difficult. Now, it was funny because somebody had asked me earlier today, how's your production today? And at that point, it was crap. But we actually ran off solar for about 3 hours today. I cleaned the panels off through the night twice, cleaned them off again this morning, and then cleaned them off a 3rd or 4th time. And we actually were getting production from the solar panels today. Now, the ones that are like this, I didn't clean those ones off. But the ones that were more flat up there because of the pressure of the snow and stuff, I didn't want that to build up on there. So those are the ones that I cleaned off, and that's the ones that we were actually getting power on today. So summertime and springtime, what I have right now with 3,120 watts is great. I'd like to have it more steady production. We run all day and all night in the summer. So, but you want to build your solar system for fall and winter. Fall can be tricky because the sun is lower in the sky, but wintertime is the tough time for your solar system. Okay, let's see what we got here. Regarding my question about preventing pipes from freezing, I am referring to an off-grid homestead. Okay, well, if you have your pipes, you want to make sure they are under the frost line. So here in New York, the frost line is about 2 feet. So you want to go lower than 2 feet when you're putting your pipes in so that you don't have freezing pipes, okay? Now, probably my pipes are down about 5 feet, I think is where they're at. I have never had an issue with my pipes freezing. So no issues with that whatsoever, okay? So, but if you get down below the frost line, like I said, the frost line generally about 2 feet depending on where you are in the country. But so if you go 3 to 5 feet, you should be okay no matter where you are, okay? So I hope that helps there. Let's see. Questions in all caps, guys. Yep, thank you for the reminder to tell people. If you have questions, all caps, please. And again, please be respectful of everybody else. I do have a couple people moderating. And I basically said, you know, if someone's being an a-hole, to block them out. So, you know, just be respectful to each other. You know, where I'm not going to tolerate nonsense in this, you know, in the live chat, just so you know. Now, you can have a dissenting opinion. I don't have a problem with that. But if you act like a jerk, you're going to be gone. Okay. So, because it's, you know, this is family oriented, guys. I mean, my channel, I don't swear on my channel because who knows who's watching. So I'm not going to do that. So just like I said, just be decent to each other. Do I know how to tan hides? I do not know how to tan hides. I have never done that. So, no, I don't have that skill. Thoughts on the blood moon tomorrow? Just another day, guys. I don't think that that's going to be anything insignificant in any way. Planet goes through cycles, and it's just another one of those cycles. I think it'll be cool to see. So, but other than that, any kind of significance with it? No. Let's see. I can all kinds for 6 months supply. I foresee a Great Depression coming. That would not shock me, to be honest with you. I could definitely see another depression coming. So learning those type of skills, canning, having enough food back, protect yourselves. I mean, our ancestors did it. It was normal, okay? What's the most important item to have in your bug out bag? Oh, my God, there is a ton of important items you should have. Water filtration system, some kind of water filtration system. Some way to start a fire, having warm clothes, you know, extra socks, wool socks. Those are great to have. If you can get wool clothes, the better. It's better, you know, because even when they're wet, they're going to still keep you warm. Where cotton is just going to make you freeze. So, definitely those type of things. Having a good sturdy knife, some kind of thing like that. That's 3 things right there. But there's a lot of different things that you really should have in a bug out bag. Best brand of Band-Aids and bandages. You know what? It's hard to say. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to grab it real quick. All right, so here's one of the things that I have, okay? It's just a Band-Aid product, but it is like your regular gauze bandage, see, okay? And so, and it's sealed. It's 4x4, so those are nice to have. I believe you need to have as much medical supplies as you can get. I think that's really, really important. So, that's what I would do. Just look for quality. Don't go for the cheap stuff, because the cheap stuff is not going to last. A Band-Aid over time, a regular Band-Aid, that stickiness is going to wane off and go away. So, that's the thing with these type of things. And you're going to want to get a lot of gauze so that you can wrap and stuff like that too. Okay. So let's see. Do I have a ham radio? I do not at this time. I did talk with somebody, and I'm hopefully going to be getting one soon. Okay, because that's definitely, communication is going to be huge to be able to find out what's going on. Ham radio, even having a CB radio so that you can pick up local chatter within a 10 to 15 mile radius would be a really good thing to have too. Yep, feminine pads make any size Band-Aid. You are correct, Blue Feather. It's great. It's a great thing to have. Can be used for a larger wound and stuff like that. Very, very good to have. What do I think about Quick Clot? I have Quick Clot. Quick Clot, if it's that type of emergency where somebody is really, shot or cut themselves in a really bad way, that's a great way to stop that bleeding with the quickness. So yeah, I do have Quick Clot on. That's one of the things I do have on hand. So I definitely recommend Quick Clot. Let's see. Yeah, tampons for a fire starter. Absolutely, you can use them for that too. So let's see. We don't know anyone down here. How do you find a group? Okay, finding a group, Julie, is, what I'm gonna do is actually, I was talking about this with Mike. On my website, we're gonna set something up so that this is at preppernurse1.com. Okay, we're gonna set something up so that people can come in, say where you're from, from like different states and stuff like that, and that way you can try to communicate with each other. It's a great way to try to, branch in and talk with people. And so we're going to try to do something like that, because I think there's a lot of people that are having a hard time connecting with other like-minded people. So hopefully we can do that, and that'll help. Okay, so we're going to definitely be setting that up. So look for that on my website, again, preppernurse1.com. Okay, let's see. Let's see. I'm trying to. What about different countries? We can do that too. We can set that up on the website as well. That's a good point. Sorry, I know I got a lot of UK viewers. People from Sweden watch the channel quite a bit, and again, thank you for that, guys. And thank you for watching. But Australia. So if you're in any country, so we'll do countries too. So we'll do every state in the U.S. and obviously Alaska and Hawaii as well. But also we'll do other countries as well. So let's see, what do we got here? Oh, it says Marfugal has state groups. Oh, there. Well, I want to do that too. Like I said. Oh, very cool. MBG. Good. I'm glad your husband finally got on board, Marcia. That's very, very cool. Very cool. It helps when you have a partner that is with you in your prepping. So it definitely helps. Have you heard the government is tracking the food purchased from companies that have a 20-year shelf life? They would be having to track a whole ton of people to do that, because people buy that stuff all the time. And I don't know if there's any validity that the government would be tracking people that are doing that. I really don't. I don't see that. What is the purpose of that? How's that going to help them? So 22 long rifle is the most important weapon. Joe Smith. I'm going to have to agree. That's a good weapon to have because you can use it for hunting, small game. The ammunition is very, very cheap, and it will take somebody down. So it's a good weapon to have, you know. Survival prepping, use heirloom seeds. Yes, definitely. I agree with that 100%. For your gardens, use seeds that you're going to be able to collect the seeds from the plants that you've grown to be able to reuse them again. When you use the hybrid seeds, they're not going to reproduce it where that you can reuse them. So you definitely want heirloom or heirloom, however you say it, seeds. Okay. Survival prepping, crossbow. Yep, crossbow is a great. I've talked about this the other day. Crossbow, compound bow. If you can have something like that and know how to use it, again, we talked about practical practice before. Practicing your tools that you have, okay? Having a compound bow or a crossbow, great way to hunt, very, very silent, okay? I think with our previous presidents, they had to bear more issue with tracking food. Trump doesn't fit that bill. Yeah, I don't, like I said, I don't see people, somebody, prepper rabbit, yeah, 12 gauge. 12 gauge is great in the aspect if you're looking at somebody for home defense that doesn't know how to use a 12, basically use a weapon very well. With a 12 gauge, they can shoot, point in one direction, pull the trigger, especially if they're using double-aught buckshot, and they're going to hit their target. But like I said, if you're going to go for bang for your buck, cheap, 22 ammo is cheap. You can get a ton of 22 ammo, okay? Let's see. Subject today is questions and answer. RV source. Any questions that you want to have, I'm going to just try to answer questions as they come up, okay? Tea has a longer shelf life than coffee and has caffeine. Yes, it does. Tea is awesome. I have a lot of tea. I have a lot of tea put away. I do have some coffee, but I don't, like I said, I'm not a big coffee drinker, but tea, I do have a lot of tea. Would inflatable boat be useful? Life vest. I think so. If you're near water, if you have access to getting to water, if you had to get away, good thing to have. I mean, if you need to go out and go fishing, and if you don't want to be fishing on the shore, it's another good thing to have. So, yeah, it's not a bad thing to have at all. Having an inflatable boat, you definitely have your life vest. Very important, okay? Cougar Killer, I love green tea. Yeah, green tea is okay, but I try to kick around with different things. Surviving the fall, yeah, 223, 5.56. Yeah, they're like I said, I believe in being as diversified as you possibly can, as far as your weapons. Have a little bit of everything. Have a slingshot with the metal balls. Have those type of things. Any weapons that you have, guys. My rule of thumb, and this is what I would tell anybody, is 2,000 rounds per weapon is a minimum. As a minimum, the more the merrier, because here's the important thing to remember. When SHTF happens, not a matter of if, when, it's too late to go to the store at that point. Do I reload? I do not right now, but I definitely want to get that down the road, a reloader. I think that's a great thing to have. So, yeah, that's something that I definitely, there's a lot of things on my list that I want to do. So I'm trying to take care of certain things right away. And, so that's but I definitely do want to get a reloader down the road. Let's see what we got here. Livingston. So just so you know, they're answering to your question. Livingston. So anyway, let's see what do we got. What do I think about smaller solar generators? I never really used a solar generator. I know that I had a buddy of mine that had one, and he wasn't real happy with it for the cost of the money that he put into it. So I really can't say, yes or no on solar generators, but, that's going to be your own individual choice on that. But like I said, I know that the one that he had, he was not happy with the one that he had. Okay, so just, let's see. How are some of the people able to get some medical supplies? you know, a lot of the stuff that you can get right, you know, at the local Walmart or your whatever store you have in your town, Wegmans or whatever, or Kroger's or, you know, Piggly Wiggly or whatever the stores are down there. You can pick up a lot of stuff in those type of stores. If you go to the dollar store, all kinds of medical stuff, pretty cheap, that you can pick up for $1. So, you know, that's another way of doing it, okay? For my house, structurally for the snow, no, I have a metal roof on my house, guys, and my place is very, very solid. I have no issues with the snow load on my roof, and you know, as the sun comes out, it just melts off, and I've never really had an issue. My gutters I had an issue with, but other than that, do I think Trump is trying to purposely crash the Federal Reserve? I don't think so. There's a lot of games being played between the Republicans and Democrats. One of the, you know, it's just, there's a lot of with politics. There's always games, and everybody wants to be the winner and look right and stuff like that. I think it's just a matter of time before they come to some kind of compromise, and they're going to both say that they won. So it's just, what people don't understand is the government, Republican Party, Democratic Party, they're two different wings of the same bird. Okay, that's all they are, guys, and they're not looking out for us. They really, truly are not. So that's something I want you to remember too. They are not looking out for us. They're not looking out for small guys. They're looking out for the special interest groups that got them into power. Your banks, your pharmaceutical companies, your insurance companies that control everything. That's who they're looking out for, not for the small people. Okay, in the end of the day, the small people always get screwed. Just, that's something to remember. So. Let's see. Fishing line, different poundages. Yes, blue feather again. That's having any kind of different fishing line, bobbers, line, all kinds of different hooks. Very, very good to have. You go to any kind of river or creek where people have done fishing, there's always going to be hooks and lines in there that you can gather up if you need to, if you don't have any ahead of time. So that's something to think about, okay? So, hey, Cody, thank you. I say it like I see it, you know. The government is corrupt. All governments are corrupt. It's just a matter of, you know, comes down to when have we had enough as a people where we finally say, hey, we're not putting up with this crap anymore. That's what it comes down to. And it's all about control. What we don't realize is we are all slaves. All of us are slaves to the system. And that's the sad reality of it. And so trying to be as independent as you possibly can, that's what I believe that we should try to do. Because it's, like I said, they want us, tax us to death. They want us to be obedient workers. And, you know, and that's realistic. Do you think we will have another civil war? You know what? If we did, it would be a mistake. And I'll be honest with you on that. I'm going to tell you why. Because the powers that be, in my opinion, would love to see us engage in some kind of civil war. Why? Because then they could lock us down with martial law and have total control. The Constitution is suspended at that point. If we had a civil war, guys, white against black or however way you want to look at it, okay, left against the right, the only ones that wins is the powers that be, not us, okay, not us. So a civil war is counterproductive in my opinion. And that's my opinion on that, okay? What's your thoughts on gay marriage? Whatever two consenting adults do is their own business. I could care less. I used to joke around with I had some gay friends that I used to talk to quite a bit. And I used to joke around with them and say, listen, I hope you guys can get married one day. And they would be like, oh, that's really nice. I said, no, you don't understand. I'm going to tell you why. I said, you need to be as miserable as the rest of us going through that divorce and having to split up half your stuff, you know, giving them a hard time that way. But no, I mean, honestly, marriage between two consenting adults, same sex, opposite sex, it's their own business, guys. Who cares? Are you in their bedroom watching what they're doing? I don't really care. You know what I mean? They can do what they want. That's my opinion. Okay. Fiat currency is crap. You are right. Says invest in gold and silver. Well, I would invest in silver. I wouldn't invest in gold. Too hard to get rid of. Too hard to get rid of. I had gold in the past, guys, and when I wanted to get rid of it, there's only certain places that you can take it to exchange it to get money back. So silver, I think, is good. You can get it in small denominations. think is great to have. Could be useful as a barter item, you know, after SHTF happens. But consumable goods are going to be worth way more than any kind of metal. Okay, so that's my opinion on that. Let's see. Let's see. I'm trying to. It's going faster, so hold on a second. Will you do a recommended books and survival guides video? You know what, Philip? I absolutely can do that. I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do a video on that. Then let me actually, I should write. Send me an email, please, preppernurse1@yahoo.com, and remind me of that. Okay, Philip? And I will definitely do a video on that. If I don't rewrite it down right away, I will forget. So please send me that email, and I will definitely do a book on recommended videos, or not videos, books and guides. So I will definitely do that. Let's see what we got here. All right, thank you, Philip. All right, cool. Let's see. It already is on slow-mo, guys. And it's just a lot of questions really banging out really quickly, okay? Wind turbine versus solar. I like solar much better, and I'm going to tell you why. Wind turbine has too many moving parts that can break down. Solar, you put it up there, 30 years later, it's still going to be working. Not as well. It's going to lose efficiency over time, but it's still going to be working, okay? Wind turbines have a tendency to break down, and that's why I don't like wind turbines, okay? So that's just my take on it, all right? All right, let's see what else we got here. How do you obtain a ham radio? Ham radio you can get them online anytime you want to. You don't have to have a license to have one, but to use it, if you're going to get on there and talk, you have to have your operator license. So if you're just using it to listen, in a post-event, doesn't make any difference anymore. So do I think it's good to have? Absolutely. Absolutely, it's good to have. How hard is it to take a property off-grid? It depends on where you live. Again, if you're in suburbia, they're going to give you a lot harder time about trying to go off-grid if they have the rules of the town and stuff like that. So if you have the rules that say that you can't do it, then you can't do it. I know there was a lady that was fighting that down in Florida because she was living in some town and she cut off herself in municipalities, and they ended up evicting her, saying it was unsafe for her to live there, and she was fined. But she, you know, they had their rules. So if you're going to go off grid, definitely be in a place where you can just do what you want and not have to follow the town or whatever's rules. What do I think about martial law? I think martial law would be a disaster. We would be, like I said, it's suspending the Constitution. They could do whatever they wanted to do. You could put troops in the street, blockade everything. They would cut down the internet. They would stop all kinds of uprisings. You could be locked up for an undetermined amount of time for no reason at all. It's not a good thing. Not a good thing at all, okay? So that's... all right, let me see here. We bought a 14 by 40 lofted barn, and we converted our home into our home from a 14 by 40 lofted barn. So that's how we did it. You know, it's a very, very doable situation. Our home is very comfortable. It's very warm. I actually have the window open over here because I'm that warm. So, and we got the wood stove going, and it's 0 outside. U.S. Marine radios for group land lock. Somebody said. Are shortwaves better? Oh, man, that went by really, really fast. Sorry, guys. The courts would take over. In martial law, yeah, they would definitely, there would be no due process. Remember that, too. So martial law is not a good thing. Remember that. That is not a good thing. That is not at all. All right, let's see what we got here. Again, questions, guys, all cap locks for me, okay? So I can... Do I have any GMRS radios? No, I don't at this time. I have some walkie-talkies. Let me see. Here's an example of one of the walkie-talkies that we have. And I have a few more as well. All right, let's see. Do I think it will come to martial law? Again, I hope not. I'll be honest with you. It would be a very, very, very bad thing. So, you know, like I said, we cannot play into their hands. That's the important thing. We cannot play into their hands. When will I be adding chickens? When are you adding to your straight? The chickens, I'm hoping to add this spring. We got the siding for the chicken coop. So the chicken coop is going to be finished, hopefully, by the spring. And then I got to get fencing up. And I want to get it really secured because we have raccoons. Barksmall, thank you. Divide and conquer. Yeah, that's for sure. Divide and conquer. That's exactly what they want. That is what they want to do. So with the chicken coop, I want to get it so we have, like I said, we have fox, we have raccoons, we have other predators out here. So we want to make sure that once we build that house, the chicken coop, that it's completely solid, so that none of the predators can get in and get to our chickens. So, and I haven't picked out what kind of chickens yet we're going to get. Brown chicken the best? I have no idea, to be honest with you. There's a lot of different kinds. I'm going to want to get a more hardy breed for up here because of the weather, okay? We don't have any fracking going on in New York, guys, so my water supply has been fine. Right now, there is no fracking in New York, so thank goodness for that. So I hope they don't ever do it. How much snow did we get? We ended up with 14 inches of snow, and it's snowing right now. But it's a light snow, so it's not anything really bad at this point. So, let's see. Do you think? Oh, man, that went by too quick. What channel for walkie-talkies? You know, again, you could just go to the regular store, and you can order walkie-talkies right from there. Like I know Walmart has them. Actually, I'm going to show you. Hold on. Let me grab. I'll show you what else I got here recently. So here is the latest. Let me turn this so you guys can see. Here we go. Okay. So these are what I got at Walmart. They are 23-mile range. It says they're called Cobras. They're rechargeable batteries, which I like that part of it. And you know, so they got a lot of little things there with that. So those are the ones that I got. Okay. But I'm always adding to preps. I'll be honest with you. Figure walkie-talkies are going to be important for communication, just even amongst your group. Okay, so can you talk about the Fema Camps? I'm scared for my life. You know, Fema Camps. This would be my opinion on Fema Camps. When something happens, let's say we have a grid down situation. Okay, if we have a grid down situation, I think what's going to happen with Fema Camps is they're going to pop up here and there offering for help and stuff like that if you come in. I personally, I wouldn't want myself. I don't want to, you know what I mean? But I think that it depends on a person's situation. If you have somebody that is sick and, you know, and needs help, people are going to take that loved one to a Fema camp if they're offering medical attention. Okay. If you have somebody out in your area that can act as a nurse or a doctor or a midwife or those type of things, I think that, man, I am getting like so many freaking messages here. Hold on. Oh, okay. So, you know, that's, let me see, hold on. Oh, okay. All right. That's cool. All right. Thank you. Bill was giving me a tip on how to try to read the comments. But no, I think that it'll be used as a control mechanism. You know, when I did my video originally about the Fema camps, you know, people were like, there's no way that they're going to have 300 million people. And they're not going to do it that way. They're going to let us kill each other down first and then offer help. That's the way they would do it. If I was trying to control the population, that's the way I would do it. Let us kill each other off and then offer help afterwards. I think that's the way that would be done. Okay. How do you make sheds legal with codes and inspectors? Well, again, it's like if you have a building, any building, okay, and you have the electrician come in and you have it done by a certified electrician, that's going to pass any kind of inspection. So that's how you should do it. I mean, that's how you do it, guys. Okay, so Real world range about 7 miles max. Okay, thanks, Jeff. Well, like I said, I mean, basically for me, those type of walkie-talkies would be within a really localized area for communications with the group. So hopefully they wouldn't be 7 miles out. Okay, so let's see. Batteries for solar. Okay, batteries for solar really depends on what your want and needs are, how much you're willing to spend. So I started out with marine deep cycle batteries that I had purchased, where they were actually started with that. Then I went with the golf cart batteries, which are used. They use in regular golf carts. Okay, so those were the second ones that I had. I went from those to right now I have Trojan L16Es, which is a battery. It's about let's see. Well, you can't really tell that about that. Well, probably tall wise, they're 2 foot tall. They're a very, very heavy battery, about 100 pounds a piece, and they are really designed for off-grid. Now, those batteries are about $258 a piece when I bought them a couple years ago. And you can get any kind of other batteries you want. You can get top-of-the-line batteries, but now you're looking, if you get a top-of-the-line battery, could be $1,500 a battery. Now, I don't have that kind of money to be putting into batteries, so that's what you have to really look at. Okay, so if you're looking to get batteries, again, it's want and need. What are you using the batteries for? How much power are you looking to to get? Carlos, thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you. How long do you really think we have before SHDF happens? I don't make predictions, and I won't make a prediction and say it's going to be this long. Do I feel like our time is short? I do. So many different things can happen, guys, and I really truly believe, literally, and I've said this before, we're going to go to bed one day and everything is going to be absolutely normal, and we're going to wake up the next day to complete and utter chaos. I think that is how it will happen, regardless of what the event is. If there is some kind of pandemic that's let loose, I think you're going to see that happen in stages, where it's just going to, like, all of a sudden, and people are going to get scared at that point and realize that something is not good. Okay, so those are the type of things that I think will happen with that. You could wake up one day and the lights don't work no more. So there's so many different things that could happen. So I don't make predictions, but I don't like the way things are going in our country and around the world. And I think that we're in for a lot of trouble very, very soon. So that's all I'll say about that, okay? Let's see. Yep, SHTF happens when it happens. You can't predict when it is. Here's the thing is, we are all doing too much fear-mongering or not. You know what? I think a healthy fear is a good thing, okay? I really think a healthy fear is a good thing. Oh, Slice of Life, thank you very much, hon. I appreciate that. The way that I keep mice from eating my preps, I have cats, 9 of them. So they do their job. But getting back to the other thing, with the fear-mongering, I think a healthy amount of fear is good for us, okay? But to make it be obsessive is not a good thing. It's not healthy. So, SHTF is going to happen. That it will happen. I really, truly believe that. So it's better to have it and not need it, guys, than to need it and not have it. And there's another thing to think about, too. If you buy food today, it's never going to be cheaper than it is today, okay? So if you're buying rice and beans or long-term food storage, freeze-dried foods, canned goods, whatever you're buying, it's never going to be cheaper than it is right now. And even if you eat it 3-4 years down the line, it's still going to be cheaper to eat it then than to eat it now, okay? So hopefully that answers that question. So like I said, again, I would rather have something and not need it than need it and not have it, okay? So that's important. So let's see what else we got here. What are your thoughts on FEMA soldiers when SHGF going down? I think that the cities will be controlled first. And I don't necessarily would call them FEMA soldiers. It depends on what the event would be. If they did a martial law and called up the National Guard and had the regular soldiers, out in the streets, they would control towns and cities to begin with. Okay, cities especially, they would definitely look to control the cities. So that's something to think about. Okay, so look at that is the first thing. They would put up roadblocks, and they would limit what you can do and what you could not do. I think that the people out in the country are in better shape than people in the cities and suburbia, because we are more isolated, and that's exactly one of the reasons why I moved to where I did. Okay, we have more time. Eventually, they would come, though. I definitely would say that. Yep, Julie, stock up on food. She was saying, stock up on food little by little. If you do it methodically, guys, before you know it, you're going to have a whole lot. You really, truly are. Let's see. I mean, if you even look at the storm that we just had, let's talk about an SHGF situation for certain people, okay? So we just had the storm to come through. Now, we didn't get as much here as was predicted, but some areas got a lot more than we did, okay? With the wind chill factors, if the power goes down for certain towns and people don't have any kind of way to keep themselves warm with warm clothes, with a way to heat their house and those type of things, that could be deadly. They're going to find people dead in their homes, okay? I do have a Facebook page, Prepper Nurse 1. If you go on Facebook and search Prepper Nurse 1, I do have a Facebook page there. So let's see. How to hide rice. If you're going to, you know what? I've talked about caches, guys, okay? You can take metal barrels. You can take plastic barrels. And what I personally believe the best way to do it is, if you have any kind of a bucket or whatever, seal it up again. Use contractor garbage bags, okay? So you got your bucket, your 5-gallon bucket sealed up already. Whatever you have in that bucket, vacuum sealed. And then you take and you put, them in the bucket, seal that bucket, then put it in a contractor garbage bag. And then that goes inside another container. So you have layers upon layers of protection for that food, and bury it, again, under the frost line. So you want to go more than 2 feet down if you live in, like, New York. Depending on where you are, look at what the frost line is in your area. Look at that, okay? And oatmeal. I will see what I can do here. Shadesky. Will one of my moderators block Shadesky, please? All right, so I guess he's being a pain to people, and I'm sorry that you're going to get trolls, guys. It happens, so we're going to try to weed him out as much. All right, it's been done. He's been blocked, guys. Okay, just so you know. Thanks, Mike. All right, so weevils are ornery critters, right? But if you freeze that food, like your rice, ahead of time, put it up in your freezer, or in this time of year, put it outside for a week or so. You're going to kill those weevils, okay? So, and then you can take it and bury it, and then you should be fine. Now, somebody's saying he was not being a troll. He was asking a question. I don't know. I didn't see. I missed it, guys. I'm sorry. Flour's a tough one, guys. It doesn't have a whole long shelf life, just so you know. My thoughts on having a Faraday cage. Jerry, I think it's a great idea to have a Faraday cage. I made a Faraday cage out of a garbage can, but you can make a Faraday cage as big as you want. I think it's a great thing to have some electronics and to have other things in there that, to make sure in case there is an EMP. It's a very, very good thing to have. So I'm definitely for a Faraday cage. So if you could build one, and there's all kinds of videos online that you can follow as far as building a Faraday cage, I think it's a really good thing to do, okay? Large guard dogs for women, great to have, because I'm going to tell you what, if you have a guard dog, like a German Shepherd, I would recommend a female. Females are way more protective than males, and they are very pack-oriented. As long as you are the alpha of the pack, they will protect you with their life. So, yeah, I think having large dogs, regardless of breed, great to have. Early warning system, just really, really good thing to have, okay? And like I said, and even I have, my dogs are half Collie, half German Shepherd. I know that if somebody broke into this house and was trying to hurt the kids, they would go after him. Hey there, Denmark. Thank you for coming. Wow, it's got to be late where you guys are. Do I own a four-wheeler? At this time, I do not. Down the road, that is definitely something that I want to have, okay? What is a Faraday cage? Okay, a Faraday cage, where if there is an EMP, it protects the electronics that you have inside that cage so that the electrical charge goes around the outside of the cage and doesn't hurt your electronics that are inside the cage. Okay, so that's what a Faraday cage is. Let's see. Thank you, Stephanie. I had a female German Shepherd, and she was a trip. She was a trip. Good dog, though. Great dogs. Yeah, if you can get a German Shepherd, great dog. Very, very intelligent. Do I hunt and eat local animals? Right now, I don't. If I had to do it to survive, I absolutely would. I love deer meat, and I love, rabbit. I love all those type of things. So, like I said, definitely, I definitely would have no problem doing it if I needed to do it to survive. At this point, I don't need to do it to survive, so I don't hunt at this point in time, no. All right. Let's see. Yes, if you're making a Faraday cage, make sure your cage is grounded. Very good advice. What food do I prep for my pups? I keep back dog food for them and the cats. So I definitely try to keep enough on hand for them. SHTF happens. There's, and this may sound terrible, but there's going to be a lot of dead bodies on the ground, guys. And so they will, let's see, I can't see what that said, but there's food for your animals there if you had to. I mean, it sounds terrible, but they will be there. Okay. So that's, anyway. Let's see, canned meat for you and your dog pet. Yeah, well, I mean, you could use that too, You can use canned food for your dogs. I mean, that's another way of stocking up on stuff as well. And as long as it's canned and it's not open, it's still going to be good. So those are going to last a long time if you have canned food for your animals. How long can you live on rice? Well, I'm going to tell you what. If you ate just plain rice every day, after about a couple of weeks, you'd be so sick of rice you'd want to puke, okay? So you want to have other ways to change the taste of the rice, adding other food into the rice, like a can of chili. Put that into the rice. That's a different texture, a different taste of that meal. Adding different spices to the rice, okay? That's another thing. Somebody made a great comment here. Learn to garden now, folks. Very, very good advice, okay? Gardening is going to be the main staple after a major SHTF event. If you do not know how to garden, learn how to do it. Take a horticultural class if you can. Learn as much as you possibly can. Learn what works, what doesn't work. Having a bunch of seeds is good to have, but if you don't know what you're doing with a garden, it's not going to work, okay? And even when you do know what you're doing with a garden, you're going to have years that certain things are not going to work. We had 2 years ago, I put in a bunch of tomato plants. Made my garden predominantly tomato plants because I want to do a lot of canning of tomatoes. I ended up with some kind of blight that year, and we ended up getting maybe 4 edible tomatoes out of 18 tomato plants. So I really learned 2 good lessons from that. Don't focus on just one thing. Keep your garden diversified, so if one thing doesn't come, something else will. Because everything else that year did great, but those tomatoes did crap. And now last year our tomatoes did fine. So you just never know. Okay. Yeah, companion planting. Absolutely. Google that. That's another great tip, Survival Prepping 101. Companion planting. Find out what it's like the 3 sisters. Okay. Beans, corn, and like a squash. So the squash is going to cover the ground. Your corn is going to go up high. Your beans are going to climb the stalk. And that's a great way of companion gardening just with those alone. Okay. Another Anne's Homestead said, don't plant everything next to each other in one garden. That's good advice as well. I did not know that New York outlawed militia training. I did not know that. I'll have to look that up and see where that is. If you could send me the link, please send me the link again. preppernurse1@yahoo.com. I would like to read that, please. Okay, so thank you. Let's see. Beans fertilize. I do not have whole wheat berries. I do have oats. Rolled oats I do have. How to avoid detection? Oh, that's going to be a tougher one, guys. You know, you're going to want to try to be the gray man. That's the biggest thing, too. You're going to want to be the gray man. All right, so here's a great one here, and I want to bring this up. Iodized salt will be important. I have a ton of iodized salt, and the reason why is iodine is no other way to get it. They put it in salt. It will, if it can affect you, you can get goiters on your neck and stuff like that if you don't have iodine in your system. So having that iodized salt is a huge, huge thing. So that is, I definitely highly, highly recommend iodized salt, okay? I probably have 150 pounds of iodized salt put away right now. That's what I have. I think it's at least that. So it's very, very important. Old world root cellars, I think they're important to have. Absolutely. You want to keep, like your potatoes and your carrots and those type of things in a root cellar if you can. If you can make a concrete root cellar, even better. Okay, but any kind of root cellar is going to be very, very good. Okay, very, very good to have. Do they make an indoor gardening system? You can do indoor gardening. It's a lot tougher. That would be more like with sprouts and stuff like that, like in a window box. So that would be a way that you could do that. What about a cooler in the ground? Cooler in the ground will work. Again, you're going to want to keep it low enough under the frost line and have some kind of insulation on top so that that doesn't freeze. But a cooler will definitely work. But again, you're going to have to go pretty deep. Let's see. Military field manuals, very good advice. Definitely, if you can get any kind of manuals that are going to give you information. Remember, here's an important thing, guys. Knowledge is power, okay? If the internet's down and you can't get out there and do that type of thing, being able to have information on hand that you can read, that's going to be huge. I have a lot of different books. I'm always trying to add on to my stuff all the time. And very, very important stuff to have. Any kind of military stuff that you can have, strategy. Oh my God, what is the guy's name? Sun Tzu. Get that book. Read about that. Read about his strategies. He was a very, very good tactician. So those are something, other things to look. Anything that you can do that's going to help you, that's something that you should definitely be looking at, okay? SAS Handbook. There's another, yep, definitely. That's a good one to look up, guys. If you can find it online and buy it, definitely recommend it. Yeah, The Art of War by Sun Tzu. That's exactly. Thank you very much. I knew I couldn't think of it off the top of my head, but that's I have that book and I've read that book. You know who also reads that book? I want you to think about this. The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Who reads that book? A lot of corporate people read that book. It's all about strategy, guys. Think about that. Always strategy. Let's see. The Scout Handbook. Yes, very good book to have. Get, the Boy Scout Handbook. Definitely good to have, guys. Let's see. Scout Book Survival Manual. I think if you can get it and you can find it online, definitely look at that. Somebody just wrote on here, booby traps. Know how to do booby traps, guys. It's just good advice. It's a good way to protect yourself. In a worst case scenario, there's going to be a lot of people out there looking to take what you have, even if you don't have very much. So remember that, okay? Fiction books, good too, folks. Yep, fiction books are good. It's something to calm your mind, having a distraction. That's why I always say a lot about games and stuff like that, having different games that you can play in any kind of downtime that you have. Let's see. How much to dig wells and pumps? If you can have a way to get to a well that's not going to require a pump, that's a great thing to have. You know, if you have springs around your area, find that information out. Develop those water sources if you can. There's a lot of springs out there, guys, that the water just comes all the time. I have a spring on my property that I hope to turn into a pond here within the next couple of years. So, you know, another good thing to have. And even if I didn't turn it into a pond, I can use it as another water source. So, and even in the middle of the driest part of summer, that area over on the side is always wet. So that just, thrift stores are good for books. Yeah, go to a thrift store. You can get a whole bunch of books very, very cheaply. And again, something to distract your mind off of what's happening is definitely a good thing to have, okay? Have as much fishing line as you can, okay? So, let's see. I did not get a copy of the Blue Jacks manual yet, no. Thank you for the donation, Bill. So there's another one, the Blue Jacks manual. So Bill's recommending that. So let's see. Also buy salt blocks at the local farm store, much cheaper and easier to store. Very good advice. Okay, didn't think about that. I bought it. I was buying it 4 pounds at a time for 99 cents for 4 pounds when I was getting it. So, do I plan on getting any animals besides chickens? Yes, I want to do chickens first. Then I want to do goats. I would like to do meat rabbits, and at some point I want to get to where I can get a pig every spring, raise it up all year, and butcher it in the fall. And but I want to have an underground cold storage before I do that with a pig. Berkey water filters, extra Berkey water filters, guys. If you have a Berkey water filter system, getting extra filters is a very, very good thing to do. Okay, so that's very good advice. Is the government not telling us it's broke? What's broke? I don't know what they were asking. What's broke? The government's broken, that's for sure. In an apartment, you can. There's always room in an apartment. You know, under your bed, you can store canned foods or whatever you have. You know, you can, instead of having a table for a nightstand, get like 4 buckets and put that there, and then put a table or a piece of wood on top of it. You know, it's a great way of doing it. You know, there's a lot of storage areas in your apartment if you look at it, and you can store a lot of stuff there if you really try. Okay. Is the government shutdown really about having no money? They can just print more money, guys. It's not about money. I mean, paper money is realistically, it's worth nothing. If they say tomorrow that everything is solvent, any kind of money that you have on you, unless it's silver or gold, it's not worth nothing. It's not worth toilet paper, okay? So, you know, that's something to think about, you know. So, like I said, what is going to be worth something is goods. Having something that's tradable, having something that's going to help you to survive, that's what's going to be worth something. Why do you mount your panels on the roof of the... Why don't I? If I put my panels up on the roof, guys, I would have a very difficult time getting up there to clean the panels off during the winter. And it's a safety issue more than anything else. And it really wouldn't get me that much more sun because of the shading of the trees that we have over here on the side. So where I have the panels, I'm going to back them up once we put the new panels up. Yes? I got you. Okay. Once, of course, it is shutdown as a distraction. Once I back those panels up and put them up higher, our production is going to be better. And as long as I can get to them to clean them, that's important as well. Yes, you can make a emergency water filter system with charcoal, sand, and rocks. The charcoal has to be crushed up, though, guys, okay? Layer, layer, layer. Layer of charcoal, layer of sand, layer of rocks. Keep doing that. You can do it in a big plastic garbage can. Put holes in the bottom. Pour your water in the top. Filter everything down through. Once that water's filtered out, you've gotten rid of a lot of stuff that way, but then you're going to want to boil it after that. So, thoughts of hiding out in the mountains. If you have some place that is stocked and you're ready to go, I think it's a great idea. But if you think that you're going to go up into the mountains and go from with no pre-history of knowing what you're doing, I think you're going to be in big trouble. You could be a death sentence if you don't know what you're doing. that's going to be a very dangerous thing. If you have a cabin or something up in the mountains and it's well stocked and you're ready to go and you have some skills, then absolutely it's a good way to go. Okay. Let's see. I'm just trying to see. We got some. If there aren't any ready, hard to get them. Yeah, if you're not there already, it's going to be hard to get there afterwards, right? Yeah. So that's why it's important to have a plan. If you can connect with the right people and have a group, and if somebody has a place, and you go in there and you help, and you like with building, having supplies on site, working together, build those relationships now. Very, very important. Okay. So, yeah, okay, Mike. Let's see. Long-Term Survival Guide by Jim Cobb. Prepper's Long-Term Survival Guide by Jim Cobb. Somebody's recommending that. I don't know that book, but you guys can check that out. Have your contingency plan in place. Very, very important. Good thing to say. It is better to act, guys, than react. Remember that. Have a plan in place. Have a backup plan. Have a backup plan to your backup plan. If you have a bug out location, have 4 or 5 different routes and which ways to get there other than the main highways. You may not be able to use the main highways, okay? So definitely have a plan. Having a plan is very, very important. It says the government is hiding something. They always are. Always are. I don't trust them. Yep. So survival prepping. Don't wait until SHTF. Advanced preparedness is the key. That is hugely key. Great advice. Again, be prepared now. It's never too late to start. You know when it's too late to start? After SHTF happens, guys. That's when it's too late. And then you're going to be scrambling. And that's the last thing you want to do in that point in time. You don't want to scramble, okay? You want to be in a position where you have a plan in place. You act on your plan when something happens. I mean, if you look at, there's a lot of really good fiction books out there about SHTF events. 1 Second After is a great one. There's other ones out there as well, okay? Look at those. Learn from that. I mean, it's basically giving a guide, you know what I mean, how it possibly may be. So very important, very, very important. Let's see. Cast iron pots and pans will last forever. Yes, they will. And you see on my wall, guys, I got my cast iron. Love cast iron. They are something that you can hand down generation to generation, and they will not go bad. So very, very good things to have. Propane or gas generator. If you can do propane generators better, it's going to be more efficient as far as an SHTF event. Gas is only going to be good for so long after an event, guys. That's something to remember too, okay? Yeah, February food stamps were sent out early. They started it today, the 20th. I talked to somebody at the store, and they said that people are getting their February food stamps today, the 20th, and so then there may not be any in March. So something to think about, okay? Something to think about. If anybody, here's advice I want to give anybody in the Northeast. If you have the bottle and can return law in your state, New York is one of those states that has a bottle and return can law. So anybody in New York, get out there, man. People throw bottles and cans out left, right, and center all the time. I never could understand it. It's throwing money away. It's there to pick up. Go pick up bottles and cans. Take that money and use that to prep, okay? You can go to the dollar store and you can pick up stuff for $1. So you go out and you pick up a few bottles and cans, and boom, there you go, okay? Something to think about, really, really is, okay? Let's see. Good videos on soap making. Yeah, search it on YouTube, guys. Learn how to make soap. That's important as well. Very, very important. You're going to be able to be clean. Hygiene is going to be a huge, huge thing in a post-event, guys, all right? And here we are, guys. It's already 9 o'clock already. Unbelievable. The time has gone by so fast. I'm going to end it for today. Remember, guys, like I said, we are all in this together, okay? So that's really, really important to remember. And, just hang in there. Be smart. Just have a plan. Have a plan. Try to connect with people if you can. We're going to try to set something up on my website, preppernurse1.com, for people to connect in the United States and overseas, and also in Canada, overseas as well. So if you're looking to try to hook up with people, like-minded people, we're going to try to set that up, okay, guys? Remember, guys, hug and kiss the ones you love. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen. That's also really important to remember, okay? And, remember, guys, STD. Love that, love that STD. People think, oh, my God, STD. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to do, work at it methodically, and you will get there, okay? And I'll see you guys later. Like I said, I'm going to be doing live chats on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. So look for me, 8 o'clock, all those nights. That's when we're going to be doing the live chats. And I will see you guys tomorrow, okay? I hope everybody has a great night. Prepper Nurse 1, out for now.